Saturday. Just beginning with a moment to center in, taking comfortable seated position, cross-legged or otherwise, beginning to sit with a nice tall spine, grounding through your sit bones, and then growing up through the spine all the way through the crown, allowing your eyes to close for a moment or two. Taking a moment in this space to check in with yourself, take inventory. How are you feeling today? Where are you holding on to any tension or tightness? Are there any injuries to be aware of as you move through the movements? I'm just taking note. As you begin to take this inventory of yourself in the present moment, go ahead and begin to deepen your breath. If it's available to you, draw the oxygen in and out through your nose. Draw that air deep into the belly. And slowly all the way up through the chest, pausing at the top, and then slowly exhaling. And again. And as we begin to add movement to the breath, keep this nice, slow, steady breathing. Use the breath as your tool for moving through tightness, for releasing tension. Allowing your eyes to open. Go ahead and interlace your fingers all the way to the webbing. Pressing the palms forward, drawing your elbows towards one another. Squeeze your shoulder blades together on the back. And inhale, arms up. As you breathe here into the side body, just keep encouraging those hands up and back. Finding a nice shoulder stretch here wherever you're at. Couple more deep breaths here. And exhale, release down. For the next one, go ahead and switch the cross of your legs. As we move through yoga, we'll go for balance. So this will probably feel like the more awkward side. That's okay. Interlacing the fingers again, this time the awkward pinky on top. Pressing those palms forward, elbows in, shoulder blades squeeze together on the back before pressing the hands up. Breathing here, rooting down through the tailbone, rising up through the crown, draw those shoulders down, away from your ears. A few more breaths as you squeeze those elbows towards one another and keep encouraging those palms back and up. And exhale, release. you've got your strap or belt or anything that'll work, grab that now. And drawing your legs long out in front of you. If you don't have one, you can do all the poses without them, but I love a strap. So from Dandasana, staff pose with nice straight legs, pressing those thighs down towards the earth, drawing those toes back towards your nose. Make sure the big toes are pointing straight up. Go ahead and hook the balls of your feet with your strap. And finding that sweet spot where maybe you're just on the edge of a stretch, go ahead and draw that chest forward through the shoulders. Finding a nice straight spine here. And then on an exhale, beginning to fold forward, drawing that chest towards the legs. Crown of the head, neck stays in alignment with the spine, so we're not dropping the head or neck yet. Keep drawing that belly, that chest towards the thighs. Keep flexing those feet. If you're putting all the work in, you probably don't have to go too far to feel a pretty good stretch. And then, of course, breathing here. That nice deep breathing, even through the edge of uncomfortableness, is going to be your tool for release, releasing some of that tension, finding more opening and space in your body. I like to imagine the breath on my inhale is moving deep, deep down into my spaces of tightness. And with the exhale, that it just kind of carries some of that out of my body. Not the space created, it creates more space for what I do want. If you found a little opening here, yeah, we're gonna hold this a minute. Go ahead and walk your hands a little further up the strap. Come a little deeper, keep playing with that edge, stay at that edge. That's where the work through this class will be. On your next inhale, go ahead and sit up straight, releasing the strap. Taking a nice wide straddle, as wide as your legs want to go, and still be basically straight. From there, take your thigh, twist it inward, scoop some of the flesh out of the back. You'll find that your pelvic bone can tilt forward a little bit more, allowing you to grow a little bit longer through the spine. Again, flexing those feet, take a peek down. Are those big toes pointed straight up? From there, beginning to walk your hands forward. Again, nice straight spine, leading with the chest. Just taking these moments as we hold the poses to tap into your breath, to tap into the present moment. If you find your mind trying to talk to you about things, just bring your attention back to the breath. See if you can take the seat of the observer. Yoga is also a practice of quieting the mind. Focusing on the breath. Becoming so deeply present. Beginning to walk those fingers forward a little bit more. And for the last few breaths, go ahead and release in the head and neck. The forehead bows towards the mat. On your next inhale, slowly pressing up all the way to seated. From seated, grabbing behind the thighs, using your hands to assist the feet up. Heels stay wide, hands come behind for support. Beginning to work through the hip joints, just drop your knees towards one side and then the other. They may not make it to the mat, but you're just encouraging them towards the mat. Energetic, intentionally pressing. Connect this with the breath. Inhale up, exhale, dropping to one side. Inhale up through center, exhale, dropping to the other side. A few more times. Keep it connected with the breath. Inhale, center. Drawing the feet the rest of the way in and taking a moment to make your way onto your hands and knees. Go ahead and spread those fingers nice and wide. So I've done this a few times, but this is a huge thing I run into when I was teaching in person. This is not spread, this is spread. Spread those fingers as wide as you can before placing them on the mat. You should be able to feel all 10 fingertips, all four corners of the palm. Wrists are stacked under shoulders, knees under hips, finding that neutral spine. From there, go ahead, take that left foot back, pressing through the hands, pressing those hips back, stretching through the calf. Just breathe here. And add some balance and core. Take that left foot up, right arm forward. Peek down. Make sure that left hip is parallel to the mat, not opening, not dropping. Pressing out through the heel, reaching out through those fingertips. You're drawing your belly button up and in. You feel your core activated. And on an exhale, release. Right foot back, pressing out through the heel, pushing through the hands to find a deeper opening. And breathing. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing around the eyes and forehead. Inhale, right foot up. Double checking those hips. Inhale, left arm forward. Keep reaching dynamically out through those fingertips, out through the heel. Tucking that belly button up and in. And release. Adding just a little bit of core. I'm going to come one more time each side. Right foot back. Left foot back, right arm forward. Lifting up. And adding the movement on an exhale, slowly drawing that elbow towards the knee. Inhale, lengthen. Take your time. If you don't do this often, it takes a moment to figure out the balance. Play with it, play with yourself, play with your body. On the tuck, really tuck those hips towards the chest. Feel it in your core just a couple more times. Exhale in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale in. And lengthen. And release. Other side. Right leg back, left arm forward. Finding that balance, and on your exhale, elbow to knee. Just a couple more times. One more time. Inhale, really lengthen. Exhale, really crunch. And release. Bringing those big toes together. Take your knees wide. Pressing the hips back so the belly can drop in between the thighs. Arms long, forehead to the mat. And this is your resting pose. This is your pose to come to at any point in the class to reconnect with the breath, to reconnect with your body. From here, just lifting the head and neck for a moment, walking your hands over towards the right and dropping again. Breathing through that whole left side body. Inhale, lifting the head and chest, walking through center, hands over to the left, and dropping that head and chest. Inhale, lift, walking through center, coming back onto the hands and knees. Go ahead and restack those knees under the hips, wrists under shoulders. I'm going to take a nice shoulder stretch. Inhale, that right arm up. Exhale, threading it through under that left armpit, the back of the shoulder and side of the head come to the mat. Maybe this is already a pretty deep stretch for you. Just breathe here if you're already feeling it. Otherwise, maybe you walk that left hand up away from the head and back towards the back corner of your mat. On your next breath, go ahead and take, if you took that hand back, take it back forward and in front of your face. Pressing in to that left hand to release the right. Right comes all the way back up. for a counter pose, releasing that right hand to the mat. Other side, left arm up and threading. And then yogi's choice, walking that right hand maybe up and back. If you took that hand back, go ahead, walk it back forward in front of the face. So you can press into it, lift it up. Left arm comes all the way up into the counter pose and back to the mat. Go ahead and make your way down onto your belly. Working into the back here. Hands come back by the hips, backs of the hands to the mat. Maybe forehead to the mat, maybe cheek to the mat. We're going to press the tops of our feet down into the mat. Thighs, hips down into the mat. We're going to start just with the top portion of Shalabhasana or locust pose. I want you to roll those shoulders down away from the ears. And then beginning to lift up. So drawing those fingertips back, lifting up through the chest, through the crown, tops of the feet still pressed into the mat. Finding your breath here. On your next exhale, release down. I'm going to take that a few times. And we will add on the feet. So reconnecting with the breath as you rest, getting ready to come back up. I know that the breath is restricted when we have our bellies against the ground. Take as deep of a breath as you can. Slow it down as much as you can. Inhale up, shoulders back, crown extending. Keep lifting up, up, up as high as you can, using those back muscles, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Breathing here. Strengthening the lungs. Overcoming your mental barriers. And exhale, release just one more time with the feet added. Reconnect with your breath here. Go ahead, if it's available to you, interlace your fingers behind your back. You're going to press the knuckles down your spine, beginning to lift the head and shoulders, and now the feet come up. Heels press up towards the sky, knuckles keep pressing back. Gazing slightly down, crown stays in alignment with the neck. Breathing here, maybe you find yourself rocking a little bit back and forth. And exhale, release. Beautiful job. Hands below shoulders, hips up and back, coming back into child's. You can have knees together or knees wide, forehead towards the mat. exhaling back forward onto the hands and knees. Go ahead and tuck those back toes under, taking the feet about hips distance apart, shifting those hips up and back, down dog. Make them a little wider than hips distance. If you need to, would like to at first, I want you to roll those armpits in towards your ears. Take a deep bend in the knees to shoot those hips up and back, and then begin to press those heels towards the mat. It's okay if you have a deep bend in the knees, especially if you don't spend a lot of time in down dog. I'm breathing here. On your next inhale, take a really deep bend in the knees, gazing forward, and just walk for our first one of the day. Your feet all the way up to your hands. Coming into a forward fold again. Take that deep bend in the knees. And from there, from the place where you can bring your hands to the ground, begin to straighten just as far as you can. Finding a nice deep stretch here, release in the head and neck. Completely release in the head and neck. Shake your head yes. Shake it no. Continue to drop that crown towards the floor. I want you to feel all the tension of your spine cascading from the tailbone, down the spine, out through the top of your head. Just leaving it here on the mat. A couple more deep breaths. Tucking that tailbone under, beginning to roll up, one vertebra at a time. As you come up to standing, allow your head and neck to come last. Inhale the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands in prayer position at the heart. Taking from standing today, instead of full vinyasas, go ahead and just step that left foot back. Step it back about as far as if you were to draw your hands out. Your feet would be roughly under your wrists or hands. Lining up first, the front heel with the back instep. Once you've got all that lined up, go ahead and begin to bend into that front knee. Double checking that knee stays back over the ankle, not coming forward over it. Keep that knee back. Gaze down at that front foot. Can you see at least the first two toes? Opening through the hips, keep shooting that front knee towards the back of your mat. Go ahead and inhale, arms up. Shoulders down, away from the ears. Nice straight spine, tucking that belly button up and in, lengthening that crown towards the ceiling. Go ahead and gaze out over that front, middle finger. Breathing here in your warrior two. Take a peek down again. Can you still see those first two big toes? First two toes, big toe, next toe. Go ahead and flip that front palm up. Back palm comes to the back thigh. Inhale that top arm up and over, gazing up. Extended warrior. Breathing into that front right side body. Come a little bit deeper. Now coming through vinyasa, inhaling up, windmilling those hands down to the mat, back heel comes up. Stepping that foot back, down dog. Inhale, left leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, bending at the knee to step it through. I'm gonna flip sides so I can face the camera. Inhale, windmill all the way up, that back heel comes to the mat. Since we came right up into it, just double check alignment. Is that heel in alignment with the instep? Is that knee back over the ankle? Is it pressing back towards the back of the room, opening up through the thighs? Nice strong core, nice straight spine, gazing out over that front middle finger and breathing. If you've lost connection with the breath, reconnect here. Flipping that front palm up, back palm comes to the thigh, front arm up and over, gazing up. Extended warrior, bend a little deeper into that front knee. Inhale all the way up, hands come down, framing that front foot, that heel comes up, step back, down dog. And taking a few deep breaths here in down dog. Got a few more to go. Inhale, bending at the knees, gazing forward. Hop or walk your feet up to your hands into your forward fold. Again, taking a couple breaths here. Really focusing on the stretch today. Spending a few extra breaths in each pose. Release the head and neck. Release through the shoulders. Keep encouraging those legs towards straight. Pressing through the heels. This time, preparing a nice strong core as we come up, flat back, all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. And just taking a step back again. Starting with that left foot back. This time going just a little bit wider than you were for the last pose. Again, front heel lines up with back instep, bending into that front knee. We're going to go ahead and bring that right hand to the mat on the right side of the right leg. Left hand comes to the hip. Maybe you're up on fingertips. Maybe you're all the way on a flat palm. Keep rolling these shoulders open, rolling open from the rib cage. Extended side angle, pressing out through the back edge of that left foot, all four corners of the right foot. Maybe you take that left hand up. Maybe you gaze up. Imagine someone grabbing you from that top hand and lifting you up, nice, strong front body, all the way to standing. Exhale, windmilling those hands to the mat. Back heel comes up, right foot steps back, down dog. Just a breath or two here as the armpits roll in, the shoulder blades spread across the back. Inhale, left foot up. Exhale, step through. Back heel comes to the mat. Inhale on a windmill, coming up, double checking the alignment of those feet. Shimmy if you need to. And then left hand comes to the mat inside left foot. Front body rolls open from the rib cage through the shoulders. Keep pressing, making contact with that left arm into that left leg. Use that as some leverage to push that chest open, right arm on the hip. Maybe you extend up the next couple breaths. Maybe you gaze up. Inhale, as if someone grabbed you by that top hand, coming all the way up. And as you exhale and windmill down, have that back heel come up at the same time. Stepping back, down dog. Before we come into the next series, let's bring our big toes together. Knees nice and wide, pressing those hips back, recentering in child's. On your next inhale, coming back forward onto the hands and knees as we begin to work into our hips. My hips tend to be a little tight, so I'll be giving cues for tight hips, but feel free to ask any questions. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Inhale that right foot up, and then bending at the knee, bringing it through. Your shin is going to come to the mat. The goal of this pose is to begin to move the shin towards parallel with the front of the mat. Now, unless you're really open in the hips, that's probably not you today. It's not even me today, but you're moving in that direction. If you get it towards parallel, flex that foot. If you're comfortably back here, your foot does not need to be flexed. This will just protect the knee joint up here. Take a peek back with that back knee on the mat. Is your leg tracking straight behind you? Our senses can be deceiving, so use your eyeballs to check. Because as we go for that balance, if we've been imbalanced, that's what our body is going to think is correct. Peek down at the hips. Keep dropping that left hip down to be in alignment with the right. Maybe you even take your hand to your back and see if one hip or the other is popping up or dipping down. See if you can get them parallel to the mat. And with all that, you may just be breathing right here. You may already have a really nice deep hip stretch going. If you want to take it deeper, you can come down onto your elbows. If you want to take it deeper still, you can go all the way down onto your forehead. Listening to your body, finding your edge. It should be a deep stretch, but it should not be unbearable. Because we're going to breathe here for a minute. So find that sweet spot. you come down onto your elbows, go ahead and begin to press yourself back up. From here, you're going to tuck your back toes under, pressing the hips up to release that right leg back into down dog. Inhale, left foot up. Same thing. Exhale to the mat. Please take your time to set this up. Are you coming closer to parallel and flexing that foot? Are you allowing it to angle back? Please peek back. Find a straight leg. Double check your hips. Double check them with your hand. And then from there, holding or dropping. As we continue to work into the hips are a structure where we tend to store a lot of our experiences, especially the stressful or negative ones. So as we begin to open into the hips, I really want you to focus on that breath, drawing it deep into the belly, or even imagine being able to draw that breath into the hip. And exhale, releasing some of that tension. Check in with your face. Check in with your jaw, your forehead, around your eyes. Are you scrunched? Are you tight here? Are you just shifting the tension from your hips to another part of your body? If so, please begin to relax in the jaw. Breathing here, relaxing in the forehead. Allowing any wrinkles to smooth out. Your eyeballs sit softly in the sockets. Breathing. Just a couple more breaths here. If you came down onto the elbows, go ahead and begin to press back up. Tucking those toes under, shifting the hips up and back, down dog. Go ahead and bring the knees to the mat. We're going to keep bringing it down. Have your strap nice and close, making your way to seated with your strap, and then beginning to roll down all the way onto your back. Let's start with a couple bridges. Walk those feet in as close as you can to your body. Put those feet in, bring those fingertips down. Maybe you can even touch your heels. Maybe you can't yet, it's okay, but maybe you can get it to that point. From here, I want your thighs together, pressed in to one another. So you're going to keep squeezing your thighs together as if you had a book or something in between your legs. And if I were to come around to try and tap it out, have them so strongly pressed together that I could not tap that book out. And you're going to hold it that way through the whole bridge pose. So from there, beginning to roll your hips up, still squeezing the thighs together. Tightening the glutes, begin to roll those shoulders under your back. Maybe you can clasp your hands behind your back, pressing the forearms into the mat. Keep rolling up. Keep squeezing those thighs together. Breathing deeply into the chest here. Use this as an opportunity to expand your lung capacity. Untucking your shoulders, releasing the hands, begin to roll down. One vertebra at a time. Keep that tailbone tucked. Allow the tailbone to come down last. Nice work. Drawing one knee in, and then the other. As you draw your knees into your chest, press that tailbone back towards the mat, finding an opening, a space in the lower back. Just a nice little counter pose to the back bend of bridge. And release. My favorite, one of my favorite series now. I love these so much because my legs are so tight. So taking your strap, go ahead and bring your right leg up, hook the ball of that right foot, and press that right foot up. You might take it out at an angle at first to get that nice straight leg, flexed foot. From that straight leg, then begin to pull up a little bit more the toes towards the nose. And it may not be straight up and down today. If it's here and you're getting an incredible stretch already, that's where it is today. Keep drawing that pinky side of the foot, pinky toe side of the foot down. Pressing that heel up. If you want to go a little deeper, maybe you straighten out that bottom of the leg, that bottom leg onto the floor. If you press that quad down into the mat, you should be able to get a nice little stretch in the hip flexor as well. I'm going to be here a minute, breathe here a minute. Some of our biggest muscle groups are in the legs, our quads, the biggest muscle group, which we're not stretching at the moment, but through the hamstrings, through the calves, taking our time to get into the fascia, or that little connective tissue in between the muscles. If you've ever worked with chicken, you know that really thin white-ish colored film that's like kind of tough to cut through, that's the fascia. And that can get tight as well. Sometimes a lot of our tightness can come from the fascia, even more than the muscle. So spending a little bit of time to get into those areas. Go ahead and switch both straps over to the right hand. Begin to drop that right foot out to the right, bringing the left hand in the left hip crease. Keep encouraging that left hip to the mat. If the left hip is wanting to pop up, bring that right leg up more. Don't let that left hip pop up off the mat. Finding that sweet spot, keep drawing those toes towards the nose. And inhale up through center, both straps into the left hand. And that right foot drops over towards the left. If you keep flexing that foot, you keep drawing that pinky side of the toe back towards your face, you should feel a pretty deep stretch, probably all along your IT band here pretty quickly. I doubt you need to drop that leg very far to feel it, but keep drawing those toes up towards the nose. Keep dropping that foot until you find that nice deep stretch. The IT band, the connection from the hip basically down to the knee, is one of those places that we do hardly stretch out, and that can be the aggravator or the cause of a lot of lower back pain. So just breathing into that, giving it a little bit of love. Please double check your face. Are you smiling? Or are you clenching your jaw? Breathing here, inhale up through center. Go ahead and bend that knee, releasing the strap. Drop that right leg down alongside the left. And just for fun, take 2 seconds here to see if you feel different between the back of one leg and hip and the other. And with that awareness, go ahead and draw that left knee up, hooking the ball, and taking your time to find that sweet spot for your body. Nice straight leg, drawing it up towards the ceiling. That doesn't, maybe your angle's here today and you already have a good stretch. That's fine. That's good. That's perfect. Be where you're at. Find your sweet spot. This is about your body. This is about your practice. This is not about the ideal position. As you, I feel like I didn't give as long for this side than the other, but I'm running out of moments here. Go ahead and put both straps in the left hand now, opening that left leg over to the left. Right hand, right hip crease. Keep encouraging that hip to remain planted on the mat. And taking a few breaths here. Keep pressing that bottom thigh, that right thigh in towards the mat. Again, you might feel a nice opening here along the front of the hip into the hip flexor. Inhale up through center, pulling that pinky side of the foot more towards the nose, or back towards the body. Begin to drop that left leg over to the right. Inhale, center, bending that knee, releasing the strap. It's probably going to go a few minutes over, so if you're running somewhere at 9, yeah, but just by a few minutes. If you're running somewhere at 9, just letting you know. Go ahead and take that left ankle, cross it over the right knee, taking a nice supine twist, drop both those knees over to the right. Maybe you hold on to the outer side of the thigh, pulling the knees a little bit closer to the mat, opening up through the ribcage, through the chest, gaze out over that left shoulder. On your next inhale, back through center, switching the cross, right leg on top, both knees to the left, gazing out over that right shoulder, breathing into the twist. I just love these final twists, not only because they just feel so good on my back, but just knowing that they massage and breathe out our internal organs, helping with detox and cleanse, especially the kidneys. Inhale, center. Go ahead and uncross. Drawing those legs out long, maybe you rock a little from side to side. Find that nice even pressure between each hip on the mat. Feet relax, legs relax, hips relax into the mat, feeling supported by the earth. Your belly relaxes. If you press into your elbows just a tiny bit, draw those shoulder blades together under your back, open across the chest. Arms come out to the side, back of the hands rest against the ground. Finding that nice straight spine, that midpoint in the back of the head. And from here, we begin to drop down. Dropping down into our Shavasana, our final resting position. This is the moment where we allow our practice to settle in. This is the moment where we release our control over the breath. This is the moment that yoga was created for. Coming into a stillness of the mind. I want you to listen to the sound of your breath as it naturally moves in and out like the waves of the ocean, being compelled naturally as you hear the breath moving in and out. Begin to feel it Feel the air as it moves over the back of your throat, deep into your lungs. What is the temperature as it comes back out again? Breath is the key to life and our connection here on the planet. It is the one thing that is always done only in the present moment. So if you find your mind wandering about what may have happened in the past or what you might have to do in the future, bring that attention, that awareness back to the breath, to the now moment, to the only space from which you truly live. A few more breaths here. On your next inhale, beginning to awaken back into your body, back into the room your body occupies. Still with the eyes closed, go ahead and take a long stretch, maybe with your arms out overhead all the way through the toes. And as you're ready, begin to bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. With bent knees, making your way onto one of your sides into fetal position. Once you've enjoyed a breath or two in fetal, begin to press yourself up to seated. Nice and slow, head comes last. And as you meet yourself back in seated, Sukhasana, same as the beginning of class, closing your eyes for one last moment. As you drop those shoulders down away from the ears, allowing your sits bones to settle into the mat and the crown rise up. Check in with yourself again now. See if you feel a difference in your mood, in your body. In the way it feels to sit here. Just take notice. And from this seat of deeper awareness of our breath, of ourselves, let's take this out into our daily happenings, to our daily lives. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Namaste. I'm going to shut off recordings, and if anyone wants to check in for a moment, I'm available.